Andy, aside from the obvious results, what did you see from Torrens and his at-bats tonight?
They're great. Hit the ball hard all day long. That opposite field home run got us really going. I thought the dugout had a ton of juice. Thought everybody was fired up for him today. He's such a great teammate. So seeing him take swings like that and do what he does beyond the dish was outstanding.
What did you see out of Sean, especially when he was able to work his way out of some trouble?
Yeah, really gritty today. Found trouble in almost every inning, and that first was huge for us to find a way out of that inning without giving up a run. That team doesn't strike out much at all, and to get a couple huge punch outs. I think he was up to 95 on the board. Stuff was coming out well. He really had to fight today, and he did.
What's it mean to you to get this kind of all-around performance a day after everything kind of gets torn down?
I think what really energizes a group of guys is having a guy make a debut, come in and get a huge out in a tough situation against a very good hitter, and then go back out there and throw really well the next inning. I thought the dugout was as alive in that Nate Lavender punch out as it's been in some time, and I think that really just hopefully is a catalyst for us to bring some energy with these new guys we got here. And we saw a bunch of guys in different roles. They're pitching in tough situations. They did a great job, so I think everybody took some juice from that.
Senga, it was a 4-run lead, but nice little warm-up for some leverage innings.
Yeah, give him the ninth, 4 runs, not a save situation, so he's not going to be able to claim that today, but he did a great job. He went after hitters. It's fun to get him into that role. There's a long list of pitchers who started for a long time that went to the pen and eventually dominated. And we believe he has the kind of stuff to do that, and thought he was really good.
What about his skill set or mental makeup do you think makes him suited to this role?
I mean, he has pitched in some of the biggest games in the world. Been premier guy in Japan for a long time, and just think that he really has the capacity to fill up the strike zone when he wants to and really cut loose. I think he's got plus velo, and so we kind of just trusted the heartbeat today and the fact he's been in some big situations. We had a kind of long list of new guys touching the mound for the first time, so it was great to see him do that.
He was up to 99 today. Do you think there could even be a little more in there if he's going in these one-inning bursts?
Yeah, I don't really care if he hits 100. I think that becomes a more interesting story for some people, but as long as he's throwing each pitch with conviction and belief that he's going to get the guy out, that's what we're after.
You said before the game you don't know how a guy's debut is going to go. What did Nate show you with those 4 outs?
The same heartbeat we've always seen from him. I think that you, especially in relievers, like, you have to be able to trust the heartbeat, and he was able to slow that game down. It was a big punch out with 2 guys on, and he just walked off the mound like he'd been doing it for a long time. And I tried to tell him as quickly as possible he was going back out, because there's a lot of guys that'll just mentally shut down and call that a debut. So we didn't soft serve him at all. I just don't think there's a good way to do that with the group we have right now. We got to pitch them as they are, and he did a great job in a pocket he should excel in. He did.
How did he react to that conversation?
No change in demeanor, completely calm, completely fine. Walked through, shook the hands of the teammates, and just saw him sit down on the bench and lock back in like he's done 1,000 times.
How has Senga handled this year? Obviously, this isn't how he envisioned this year going.
Yeah, he wanted to have a successful year where he's pitching on a postseason team. That's what he was after. That's what we all were after. He has handled the conversations with me about role change as well as anybody possibly could, with a lot of deference to the team, a strong desire to do well for everybody, and a willingness to pour everything into what we ask him to do. And when you ask somebody who's done something for so long to change roles, it's appreciated when they just embrace it.
What do you make of that home run from bench and just the power he showed on that one?
It was crushed. Kai, who has spent a lot of years here in Cleveland's ballpark, as soon as he hit it, says, ball doesn't go out there. And then I love it when Kai's wrong because it doesn't happen often. So that was a fun one to talk about. He absolutely crushed it.
Sean, I'm sure they're really, everybody enjoys outings where they're just mowing guys down left and right. But is there something uniquely satisfying about being able to navigate traffic like that in the way you did and come through, giving up just 2 runs in 6 innings?
Yeah. It's pitching. It makes those outings like you're talking about, that more special. And
obviously it's a very good team, playoff caliber team, and you know, they're putting the pressure on early and often, and yeah, to be able to navigate it, like you said, it was like that was a lot of fun. You know, like that's everything I've always dreamed of. Just to be able to go out there and pitch and you know, navigate a lineup like that, and yeah, I was just really proud of myself for that.
Andy was just talking about how they're not a team that strikes out all that often, especially in that first inning, getting those 2 punch-outs. What were you able to do in those specific at-bats to get the swing and miss?
Just let go, let my fastball fly, and yeah, just attack him. You know, I think trying to be a little too cute sometimes, and then you know, when I feel like I'm throwing hard like that, it's more just throwing the ball and just seeing what happens.
You've obviously done so much work to get that velocity back up. When you're seeing, you know, consistent 94, I think you hit 95 today, does it feel different in terms of what you're physically doing than earlier in the season, or is it just that all that extra work has led to some mechanical shift that allows that ball to jump out a little differently?
I mean, definitely there's a lot of work that was involved, but honestly I don't really feel, you know, I was throwing like 88, 89. To me, it doesn't feel that much different. But, you know, obviously the results are different. So I don't really know what it is. You know, I feel healthy and all that stuff. But, yeah, obviously it was, you know, the ball's coming out a little bit better today.
Andy was just talking about a little bit of the energy boost that can come from guys coming up, specifically Lavender coming out and making his major league debut, getting a big punch out. How much do you guys as teammates, you know, you as a veteran, one of the older guys in the room, like how much do you feel that from some of these young guys now?
It's awesome. You know, if you kind of pay attention, you know, what Lav's been through, you know, to go through some injuries, you know, spend some time in the minor leagues and scratch and claw and get his way here, and then to, you know, have an outing like that is, you know, so cool to be able to witness that. And, you know, as a human being, it's awesome. You know, you love hear stories like that. You know, he's a great dude, and you know, just super happy that you know, had an outing like tonight, and you know, it's a culmination of all the hard work he's put in, and yeah, I just love to see that stuff.
As a starter who's had to transition to the bullpen, with Kodai kind of stepping into that role, what are some of the challenges associated with that, and maybe is there any freeing benefit to that, just knowing that it's maybe one inning, kind of 3 batters at a time?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing is just, you know, you have a routine as a starter. You know, you got the 5 days in between, 6 days, you know, with an off day, but you know, as a reliever, you just kind of, it's the same thing, but you just got to have like a different routine. I don't necessarily know what he's doing, but you know, he's been doing a great job, and you know, I just love the way he's been throwing the ball, and you know, whatever he's doing, then you know, just keep doing that because he's disgusting.
Nate, after all that time, what does it feel like to make your big league debut?
Unbelievable. You know, and I think you briefly touched on it, even though you said that, but it's, you know, it's been a long journey. Drafted here in 21, in the system, spent some time in Tampa, you know, dealt with some injuries and stuff, but, you know, all that doesn't matter. It's just, it's part of the journey, and it feels absolutely unbelievable, man.
So Andy was saying that in an ideal world, you'd get a nice soft landing, but that given the situation, there aren't going to be soft landings for you guys. So thrown right into the fire, how were you able to keep the heart rate down there and get that job done?
Sure. I mean, I think it stems back to just routine, and, you know, how many times have I grabbed a ball, warmed up, gone through the, you know, the same steps I do when I warm up and go in a game. But yeah, I think I just leaned on that, and I mean, the situation shouldn't matter. You know, it's inning 1, inning 9, inning 10, 11, 12, you know, whenever. It's just part of the job description. And that's just sort of how I view it, but really thankful for the opportunity, man.
When you got that strikeout, you kind of spun around. You looked like you were about to explode, and then you kept it together. Like, what's going through your mind at that moment?
I think part of that, and it might have looked cool a little bit, but I think that's just the way I fall off the mound a little bit. But, you know, it's a really good out in that situation. I love the way Luis sets up back there. You know, he's a great target. Just want to keep rolling, keep contributing, and keep winning ball games, man. Let's keep cruising.
What was your reaction when you were told right away you were getting the next inning?
Just back to the routine. You know, I moved around a little bit, did some plyos, stayed ready, stayed loose, and then you get that call. It's go time, man.
You touched on your journey a little bit. Obviously, going to Tampa in the Rule 5, having the injury, being returned. Was there a moment, either when you get the call at any point today, after you finish your debut, where you sit back and reflect on just how the journey has gone?
Sure. I mean, definitely. And spending 2 years on the shelf it's a lot of ups and downs. Obviously the first Tommy John, the beginning of 24, nobody likes it. You rehab, you keep going, and then bang, another surgery. And I was talking to my wife the other day, some of my friends too. You have to enjoy the small moments. Whether it's if I can't throw in a game, I can go attack this throwing program just exactly like I would with the same mentality. Obviously, my family too. My wife Emma is absolutely amazing, really encouraging. But yeah, that's sort of how I attacked the last couple of years, and now we're here.
What did it mean to have your family here tonight?
Amazing, and this might be a separate story, but there's no direct flights from Syracuse to Cleveland. So I'm talking to my wife. We took a bus yesterday from Syracuse here, and she's like, I don't know that I can. It's too quick of a turnover. We fly in, the next flight out's in a different terminal. They may have taken the train from Syracuse and actually got here at 5 a.m. So with a 2.5-year-old. So yes, cool story.
You keep that strikeout ball?
I did. That'll go in the collection, the start of a collection, I guess. But yeah, man, absolutely wonderful.
Can you walk us through what it was like to get that call and when it was, where you were, who you were with?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I was just at home with my family in Syracuse. Obviously, this time of year, there's usually a lot of changes, and it's just a lot of tumultuous activity, right? You always know it's a possibility, but I think I was actually doing laundry, got a call, and then went to the field, got my stuff together, and hopped on a bus. So,
Whites or darks?
I might have been just separating a bunch of clothes at the time, but yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank all of you. I appreciate it.
Kodai, what was your initial reaction? What are your thoughts when they told you that they wanted to see what you would look like in a high leverage role, 1-inning role like this?
1イニングで試合の後半投げるっていう風に監督から伝えられた時の最初の印象だったりリアクションはいかがでしたか？
まず立場が分かりやすい状況っていうのは準備がしやすいし、自分の中でも作っていきやすいので嬉しいなと思う反面、やっぱり先発もしたいなと。でも今年の状況だったら自分の成績だったら仕方ないなと思う部分もあるっていうのを正直に伝えたし、今与えられた仕事を一生懸命やれればいいなという感じです。
Yeah, that type of situation, it's easier to prepare for than previously. So grateful for the opportunity and to be able to pitch in situations like that. At the same time, I made sure to tell the team that I signed as a starter and starting is something that I would like to do. But I also understand that my results, my stats don't show that I necessarily deserve a starting pitching rotation spot. Same thing as I've said previously, whatever position I'm put in, whatever role I'm given, I'm happy to do so and perform, and I'll continue to do my best there.
Kodai, part of the appeal of having you in this role, I know from an organizational perspective, is really just using those 2 pitches in short bursts. How much are you in this role focused on going mainly fastball, ghost fork for the most part while this while this experiment is going on?
球団としてはまっすぐフォークの2球種を多く使っていってほしい それがすごいいい球種だと思うっていうような評価だと思うんですけど、千賀さん自身では、その2球種を多く使うなどについての印象はいかがですか？
バッターの状況と自分の状況とによるから、そこはちょっと難しいところあるけど、でもそれいつらが決まればいいし、とにかくストライクゾーンで、しっかり勝負できれば、そいつらの生きてくるっていうのは間違いない。他の球もそういうのが助けになってくるかなと思う。
Yeah, for sure. If I get those 2 pitches in the zone, that's huge. It's a very big advantage for myself. But the batter and the game will dictate what pitches I will throw. And if I get those 2 pitches in there, I think my other pitches will work better as well. So again, those 2 pitches are huge, but the game dictates what pitches I throw.
Late game relievers have often talked about the adrenaline spike that comes with coming into a game in that situation. Do you feel that, and do you feel like that's an asset at all?
試合の後半投げるリリーフ中継ぎピッチャーっていうのは、アドレナリンが出て、それが試合に効果的に使えるっていう風な話をよく伺うんですけど、千賀さん自身はいかがでしたかっていうと、それがアドレナリン使えそうですか？
まだそのシチュエーションになってないからちょっとまだ何とも言えないけど、でもとりあえず今までの試合も十分そういうのは経験してきたし、そうじゃなくても自分のピッチングすることをベストを尽くすのは変わらないから、そんなに今はまだ経験できてない。
I don't know if I've had the opportunity to experience that just today, but I have so in previous games that I've pitched in my career. Regardless of the situation, the job is the same. I'm going to go out there and do my best.
Kodai, you said you let them know that you signed as a starter and would like to start. Do you think you're going to get that opportunity this year?
先発がしたいっていうふうにチームには伝えたっていうことでしたけど、それを踏まえた上でそのチャンスが巡ってくると思います。
とりあえずは言われたとこを与えられたとこをやるべきだし、自分がやりたいと言ってもチームがお前成績見てみろよって言われたらおとなしくするしかないし、そこはもう自分の中で、分かっている部分である。ただ自分のパフォーマンスを上げて、キャリアがまだまだ続くようなそんなような日々を過ごせたらなと思ってます。
Again, same thing. Whatever role is given to me, I'm going to throw in that role. Regardless of what I say, if I say I want to be a starter, the team could tell me, just look at your stats, and I don't have anything to say back to them. So again, whatever role is given to me, I'm going to continue to perform, continue to prepare, and I hope to continue along this path and have a long career ahead of me. And whatever role that's in is whatever role it's in.
When did the organization first approach you about this?
この起用法に関してはいつ、チームから聞きましたか？
最初試合前。
Today before the game.
Today before the game.
How do you feel like you've been able to handle the shift in routine in between appearances from the time you were starter to now as a bullpen arm?
先発から中継ぎに、転向して、試合間の調整であったりとかっていう風な準備は、うまくできていると思いますが、うまくアジャストできてますか？
日本でもなんならリリーフから始まったし、リリーフのその最初のロングから始まってその勝ってる時に投げるって変わっていったっても変わらないし、自分のやるべきことっていうのはもういろいろ経験してきた分、準備の部分は不安もなくやれています。
Yeah, I feel pretty well adjusted to the routine and the preparation part. In Japan, I started off as a long guy in the bullpen, turned into a high leverage guy towards later on in the year. So I've experienced that, and I think that experience has helped me, and I feel well prepared.
What was yesterday like for you? Like, were you wondering or worried about trade rumors, and was it hard for you to see so many of your teammates get dealt?
昨日はどのような一日ですか？自分自身がどうなるんだろうっていう不安があったかっていうのと、チームメートがたくさん他球団に移籍になって、悲しい気持ちだって、どういう感情でしたか？
チームメートがね、その移動の飛行機に乗らなかったっていうのは、すごい分かりやすい状況だったので、寂しかったけど、自分のことに関しては、とにかくやるべきこと、自分のパフォーマンスを上げて、自分のパフォーマンスをしっかり出すっていう準備をするっていうのは変わらないから、 もう何であろうと本当にそこは変わらないかな。ただ寂しかったかなって感じ。
Yeah, it was difficult not seeing a lot of the guys not board the plane coming here 2 days ago. So that was tough. And in terms of myself, whatever team I'm on, whatever role I'm in, it's the same thing. I just need to go out there and perform, and whatever opportunities come my way, I'm embracing them.
How do you feel about where your stuff and mechanics are right now?
現在での、球の質であったりメカニクスはいかがですか？
まあ、すごいいいと思う。今日も力入れないようにっていう感じで、いけてスピードも出てたし、すごいいい調子になってきてるんじゃないかなと実感はしてます。
Yeah, I feel great. I think things are trending in a really, really good direction. Really easy trying to go out there, not tense up, not do anything, not do too much out there. But the velo was there. I felt great. The stuff is good.